Okay, let's just get the comments out of the way right now because I know what you're all gonna say. This is a video Mumkey would do. Jargon, are you plagiarizing Mumkey again? There, all done. I said it. Are you happy now? My channel was first popularized by a video parodying Mumkey Jones, and after that I was the Mumkey plagiarist. But since then, my channel is basically Theus's ship. Every part has been replaced at least once, so is it even the same thing anymore? If anything, I'm more of a Diet Tro than a Mumkey clone, so this may as well be a callback to the Mumkey Jones jokes. But regardless, there's no other way I can frame it because genuinely, with no clickbait whatsoever, this is me reviewing my Leafy drama video. And yes, it is painfully terrible. For those of you who don't know, a few weeks back I made a video about Leafy's lost content wherein I mentioned that in 2016 I made a parody with my friend Alex. With awareness of Leafy beginning to grow in my social circle, I decided to get together with my friends and make an ironic live-action parody of the Leafy drama. It featured my friend starring as the ultimate hacker, who is introduced to Leafy's content and decides he's too toxic and must be stopped. The original idea, quote-unquote, was to make fun of the backlash Leafy got, which at the time felt unwarranted. Keep in mind, this was before his Keemstar takedown plan, before the Leafy content cop, and before public opinion shifted on him. Of course, he was still controversial. The video I created was made to satirize the general backlash Leafy got on a day-to-day basis for what his content was at its core, which was basically, you know, making fun of people. At the time, my friends and I were split on whether or not it was considered cyberbullying, but the debate between us is what led to me thinking up this video. And yes, in case you're curious, I was the one defending Leafy. I do think his videos are a lot harsher than I did back then, but on most occasions I still don't outright condemn the content style like most people do today. It's lazy and mean-spirited, but so is a lot of stuff, and that doesn't undermine the ability to enjoy it passively. At least until it became so oversaturated and obnoxious that I grew to hate seeing it everywhere. Ideology aside though, the plan was set. My friend Alex and I would get together and film a scripted skit about the two of us and our clashing viewpoints on Leafy in an over-the-top action video filmed on Alex's phone. And we did it. We definitely did make something. Alright, I put it off long enough. Let's actually get into this so you can see why this is simultaneously the worst thing I've ever made and my greatest feat in irony.
I don't have another fucking person in my bed. This is Calvin God.
Okay, now already there's quite a few problems. First, at the very beginning of the video, I say that the music is credited to NMSNL and that I take no credit for it. A lot of people think that if they have a disclaimer and don't take credit for something, they're in the clear for copyright. They're not. That's a myth. One that apparently I myself believed as well. And I mean, the video still hasn't gotten claims, so I guess it doesn't matter either way. Second, yes, I have the icon covering my face. It wasn't there before, but I added it now because this was made before I started hiding my face. But that's the only change done to this version of the video you're seeing since it was released. And third, this pink-haired idiot is Katie, an infamous Leafy meme who constantly tried to grab his attention. She's shown because it's supposed to look like I was laughing at a Leafy video, but it just comes off as me laughing at her, so already this clip is out of place and makes no sense. Huh, boy, I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder.
What are you watching?
Leafy. He's a guy who makes fun of stupid YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, everything gets a cyberbully.
Check him out for yourself. Let me just say, Alex is the best part of this video. He basically turns what would have been a crappy mundane skit into a truly meme-worthy piece of art. His performance is so incredible that it almost makes up for the fact that every shot in this video lingers for far too long and makes everything feel even more awkward. Probably because I just plopped the raw shots down and didn't trim them. Just watch for it and you'll see what I mean. Okay, he's supposed to be looking at Leafy and cringing, but somehow I forgot to add a shot of the screen to show what he's looking at. Boy, I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder. So he keeps watching these clips, cringing more and more, before eventually deciding he must be stopped.
He must be stopped.
And side note, you may notice that one of these video clips is a reaction video, and that's because I got lazy and only downloaded one Leafy video to use as footage for the entire skit. Katie and this guy were in it, but Leafy also talked about a reaction video some guy filmed with his mom, and it was the only other bit of footage that showed another infamous Leafy target, that being Stomedy, so I had to use it anyway. And not to mention, everything is insanely blurry because I used one of those crappy YouTube to MP4 downloaders that could only grab videos in 360p.
I need your help with something.
With what? What are you doing?
Eliminating the scourge of YouTube.
I can't let you do that.
I'm the ultimate hacker. I can do what I want.
That is truly amazing. I don't care what any of you say, that line is still funny, and with Alex's delivery, it's peak meme material. I did try to make this thing ironic from the start, even back then when I had such little self-awareness, but I only wish I would have gone the full distance and written more memeable lines like this for Alex to read. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can ever imagine. Star Wars reference.
Goodbye, old friend.
And there's the music I mentioned. Now, I don't know if it's just Alex's acting, but I think the fact that there are no muzzle flashes or gun sound effects makes this scene even funnier because it's a reminder that it's just two high school seniors filming a cringy skit with a toy gun. But if that and the little gun flip at the end that I didn't even ask him to do wasn't stupidly glorious enough, cue the 30-second hacking montage. There are several things wrong here. If you didn't read the text before, this is supposed to be a suppository Leafy bomb. The implication being that Alex was going to somehow find Leafy and shove it up his ass. And aside from that horrible countdown overlay, this bomb is nothing more than a paper towel roll with a broken clock, wires, and some leaves from the yard taped on. You won't get away with this.
It's too late for that.
Have it your way, then. Also, yes, my cat meowed in the background, but we used that take. But honestly, my acting is so painfully bad that we shouldn't have used any of them anyway, so I guess this doesn't change much.
What's happening?
Send in the memes. Okay, stop. All right. Yes, I was actually wearing a fedora in the shot underneath this. Was it part of the irony? Who's to say? I hope. I really, really do. Because if that was an honest attempt to make my character look cool, I should have probably just ended my life right there on camera because that's the only thing that would have made this video better. Send in the memes.
Hey, what's up everyone on YouTube? This is me, Devin, and thank you for clicking on this video, y'all.
You may be wondering why there's a giant floating PNG of some guy's face, and the answer is that he's a Leafy meme that my character called in to help defeat Alex. His real name is Devin Sweeney, and he was featured on Leafy's videos several times, and that's his voice in the background giving the intro to his most infamous video. And if the lack of gun effects wasn't noticeable before, it certainly is now. I don't know if you caught the painfully awful green screen effect, but what's most ironic about this is that I apparently bothered to download a green screen effect, but only used it once and didn't think to download one that would actually fit. I don't know whether this was out of laziness or unawareness, but either way, there's no excuse. Especially since there's this shot, where I presumably dodged bullets like Neo, but opted out of actually putting any on screen.
I'm gonna make sure you burn, you little asshole.
When we were filming this, neither of us had a clue as to how this scene would play out, so I told him just to writhe around a bit and hope it would line up, and that I'd add something in editing. But unfortunately, he didn't do it long enough, so I had to reuse the shot seconds later.
I'm your fucking daddy, so start calling me that.
And this time he's just moving around for no reason. Nothing's hitting him, so I guess I couldn't think of anything, so I just didn't add an effect. So I guess it was a complete lie when I told him I'd edit in something over top, because I just didn't this time.
My name's Katie and anal penetration's the game.
This was supposed to mean she anally penetrated him, I think?
bash people with fucking rocks.
Oh, look who it is. You probably can't tell, but I rubbed ketchup on the rock to make it look like blood. But that begs the question, if I took the time to do that, why didn't I just add effects and editing instead? Yep, I told you the hat was real.
You killed yourselves over a YouTuber, so now you have to make memes on his channel for all eternity.
Let me try to explain what was supposed to have happened here. The bomb went off, we both died, and now this is limbo. Strange since it looks just like my kitchen. Who would have guessed? And then my sister tells Alex and I that we killed ourselves over a YouTuber and now we have to be memes on his channel for all eternity. You see, this video was intended to be something that Leafy himself could watch and react to. I didn't make it for that reason as far as I remember, but this was meant to be a fourth wall break joke if he ever did. But the most ironic thing of all is now that I myself am making a video discussing this abomination of a skit, it becomes a whole different kind of fourth wall break joke. And even the line, "and now you have to be memes on his channel for all eternity," might just have been retroactively applied to my channel instead. Because if you actually care about my channel, I doubt you're gonna forget that I made this. And if you're curious, this joke was added for the same reason I look at the camera in the beginning after I say who Leafy is and that he makes fun of stupid YouTube videos. I had the eyes on my icon move so the joke still works while censored. My sister also looks at the camera, but that wasn't scripted. In fact, I told her not to do it, but she was getting impatient to finish the video and looked up at the camera to passively aggressively ask if we were done. But she did so fast that I couldn't cut it out of the video, and since she was getting impatient, she opted out of doing it again. Not that it matters anyway, since she already stumbled over her one and only line.
You killed yourselves over a YouTuber, so now you have to make memes on his channel for all eternity.
To be fair though, she had been helping film the whole time. Every shot where both Alex and I are in frame at once took her help, so it's not like she gave up that quickly. And then comes my favorite part of the video.
No!
Good God. Well, there you have it. That's the video that would kick off Just Jargon as it is today, and jeez is it cringy. I guess not much has changed. I'll admit, as an ironic and intentionally poorly made skit, it holds up. Which was the idea, but the problem is I wasn't capable of making anything better. I made it ironic out of sheer necessity because I didn't have the skill to make it good. And even irony can't justify some of the technical mistakes this video made. But going back after all these years and looking at this monster again gave me an idea. It's been nearly 4 years, and since then I've tried to keep improving my editing abilities, so is there a chance that maybe after all this time I could fix this somehow? I mean, you can't fix my bad acting, but you know what I mean. Fitting how just a few weeks ago I made a video discussing Leafy, and then I made a video discussing the George Lucasing done to the Cool Cat movie, because now I'm gonna be George Lucasing my video on Leafy. Pulling a George Lucas with this though wouldn't be easy, for several reasons. Videos, as you might know, are made using editing software, and you move the pictures and video clips into a project to mess around with them until you have the finished video. But in order for the project files to stay functional so you can open them again, you need to keep all the raw footage. And unfortunately, I hadn't kept the raw footage or the project file, meaning all I had to work with was the finished video and any odds and ends that I'd somehow saved from back then. I wouldn't be able to reopen the original project to remove bad things I'd added or recreate the video from scratch. But fortunately, since like I said, all the shots were basically uncut anyway in the finished video, and I barely added any effects, it was still possible to make changes. So let's start with the basics and be a bit self-reflective here, something I clearly wasn't when I made this video. One thing that I've come to realize is important with live-action skits is color. Whether in a movie or a video, lighting a scene can properly set the tone, and it's something that today I try to do a lot with my videos, especially since I started doing a lot of green screening. The lighting in the Leafy video hasn't been touched though, and is overly brownish and grainy from the phone camera we used. The colors are a bit too warm to fit the mood, so I made them a bit darker and tried to sharpen it up any way I could. Next, I went through and shortened the shots to make things a bit snappier and try to remove a bit of the awkwardness. The awkwardness that came from the pauses at least, no amount of editing could remove the rest of it. Now, even though I didn't have the core camera footage and had no way of raising the resolution, the Leafy video that I used in that skit is still up. So I could grab it with my new downloader and get a higher quality version. And this time I also grabbed a video with Stomany in it so I wouldn't have to show the clip of the reaction video. But the most important thing here is the effects. It was the aspect of the original that was the most lacking, even in places where I clearly planned to include them. So, first, the PNGs of the heads had to go. The cropping is horrible and they're too still and lifeless, even ironically. And luckily for me, one of the few things I still had from this video was the empty background I overlaid the heads on top of originally. So, I put the background on top of the original footage and had a clean slate to start again. Now, since I don't have the raw footage, the background audio from the camera shots are fused with the music, and I have no way of separating them. Which means I also can't remove the sound bites of the characters I showed on screen. So rather than try to remove it, I decided to track down the original videos I got their audio from and put the visuals that accompanied it on screen. So basically, I'd lip sync the original footage to the audio that was already in the video. I found all three relatively easily, lined them up with the audio, and cropped them out frame by frame. After adding some background effects, it sorta worked. The video of Devin still looks off in the footage because his head went out of frame quite a bit, which I can't change because the problem was on his end. None of the footage was ideal, but I did my best with it.
Hey, what's up everyone on YouTube? This is me, Devin, and thank you for clicking on this video, y'all.
I'm gonna make sure you burn, you little asshole.
I'm your fucking daddy, so start calling me that. My name's Katie and anal penetration's the game.
I also added muzzle flashes, bullets in the shot of me dodging nothing, as well as sound effects at appropriate times and minor tweaks that are hardly worth mentioning. For the final scene in Limbo, I cropped out the background and added lighting effects and an echo to, you know, actually make it look like Limbo. And after that, I cut out the copyright disclaimer at the beginning and changed the fonts used in the video to match Leafy's intro, reframed a bunch of shots, and tried to polish the main audio. And after all this, you might wonder, did it make any difference? Well, honestly, not really.
Bash people with fucking rocks.
You killed yourselves over YouTuber, so now you have to be memes on his channel for all eternity.
No!
Despite trying my best, there's really nothing that can be done to fix the core issues this video has. Because like I said, the effects were only part of the problem and I still don't have the experience to fix things completely on that front either. It's like the ED video I mentioned in Review Recap. The footage was just too old and too many things had improved for it to be usable in producing an up-to-snuff video. And despite my video being a pretty poor example, this still showcases pretty well why George Lucasing is a bad thing from the start. Whether it's Cool Cat or Star Wars, sometimes there's some charm in what the original was, and retroactively going back to try to change it doesn't actually solve anything. But honestly, if this has done anything, it's showed me how much I've improved in the past 4 years with all the new additions I made that are now just part of my video making routine. Half the things I did to try to fix this video were just things I do every day now and don't even think about. Don't get me wrong, I still don't consider myself that good of an editor, all things considered, but things have definitely improved. And interestingly enough, when trying to track down my lost project file for the original video on my old PC, I found a different project file where I'd apparently attempted to remake a video I'd started 4 years prior to then. In other words, I've always been trying to George Lucas old projects. So who knows, maybe I'm bound to keep remaking my old videos for all eternity. Forever trying to correct what can no longer be corrected and should be left to fade into obscurity with time. Fitting for a video about Leafy.